Have you ever wondered what happens when belief systems stray far from the mainstream, deep into the shadows? Today, we're diving into a topic that's both fascinating and unsettling. We're going to explore 7 groups often labeled as satanic cults, examining their beliefs, practices, and the controversies that surround them. Now, it's important to remember that the term satanic can mean very different things to different people. For some, it's about literal devil worship. For others, it's a symbol of rebellion, individualism, and a rejection of traditional religious authority. We'll be looking at groups from across this spectrum. Our goal here isn't to shock, but to understand the complex and often misunderstood world of alternative spirituality. So buckle up as we peel back the layers on these enigmatic organizations. First on our list is the Church of Satan, founded in 1966 by Anton LaVey. This is probably the most famous and influential satanic organization in the world. But here's the twist: they don't actually worship Satan as a deity. For them, Satan is not a literal being with horns and a pitchfork. Instead, he's a symbol of pride, individuality, and enlightenment. LaVey's Satanic Bible lays out a philosophy centered on indulgence rather than abstinence, and vengeance rather than turning the other cheek. They see themselves as atheists who embrace their human nature and ego. They practice rituals, but these are seen as psychodramas or therapeutic tools to focus emotional energy, not as attempts to summon supernatural forces. Despite their non-theistic stance, their use of satanic imagery and their open opposition to Christian values have made them a constant source of controversy and public fear. Next, we have the Satanic Temple, a much newer organization founded in 2013. Like the Church of Satan, they are also atheistic and don't believe in a literal Satan. However, they are very different in their approach. The Satanic Temple is primarily a political and social activist group. They use the image of Satan to advocate for the separation of church and state, religious equality, and individual liberties. You've probably seen them in the news, challenging religious monuments on public property or advocating for reproductive rights. Their 7 tenets emphasize compassion, reason, and the pursuit of justice. They see Satan as a literary figure, a symbol of rebellion against tyranny, and a champion of the underdog. While their activism often involves satire and public spectacle, their core mission is deeply serious, using legal challenges to highlight what they see as religious hypocrisy in government. Let us shift gears to a group with a much darker and more sinister reputation, the Order of Nine Angles, or ONA. Originating in the United Kingdom in the 1960s, the ONA is a far cry from the atheistic Satanism of the previous groups. This is a secretive and highly controversial organization that promotes a philosophy they call traditional Satanism. They embrace genuine evil and advocate for real-world criminal acts as a way to disrupt society and accelerate human evolution. Their writings are filled with esoteric rituals, black magic, and a praise of chaos and violence. The ONA encourages its members to gain real-world experience by joining extremist political groups, or even law enforcement to gain power and influence. Due to their explicit promotion of violence and extremism, many governments and law enforcement agencies consider them a dangerous terrorist organization. They represent the most extreme and dangerous end of the satanic spectrum. Now let's look at the Temple of Set. This group was actually a schism from the Church of Satan in 1975. A high-ranking member named Michael Aquino left LaVey's organization because he felt it was unserious enough about the supernatural. Unlike the atheistic Church of Satan, Aquino claimed to have had a genuine encounter with a supernatural entity, whom he identified as Set, the ancient Egyptian god of darkness and chaos. The Temple of Set is a theistic organization. Its members, known as Setians, believe in and communicate with Set. Their philosophy is centered on Zephyr, an Egyptian word they translate as to come into being. It's all about individual self-deification and evolution through knowledge, magic, and self-awareness. They are a highly intellectual and esoteric group with a structured system of degrees and a focus on magical practice and personal development. Another group that often gets mentioned in these discussions is Luciferianism. It's important to note that this isn't a single, unified organization like the others, but more of a broad philosophical belief system. Luciferians view Lucifer not as the evil devil of Christian tradition, but as a symbol of light, knowledge, and free will. They draw inspiration from the myth of Lucifer as the light bringer, who was cast out of heaven for challenging divine authority and bringing knowledge to humanity. Luciferian philosophy values self-empowerment, spiritual enlightenment, and the balance between light and darkness. Some Luciferians are theistic, believing in Lucifer as a real being, while others are symbolic, seeing him as a powerful archetype. They are distinct from many Satanists because they emphasize enlightenment and wisdom over carnal indulgence or rebellion for its own sake. Let us move on to a group that became infamous for its criminal activities, the Ripper Crew. This was a small, sadistic cult active in Chicago in the early 1980s. Led by Robin Gecht, this group was not a structured religious organization with a developed philosophy. Instead, it was a gang of 4 men who used a twisted and self-styled interpretation of Satanism as a justification for horrific crimes against women. Gecht, a former employee of the serial killer John Wayne Gacy, would read passages from the Satanic Bible to the group before they went out to commit their atrocities. They performed gruesome, ritualistic mutilations on their victims, believing it would grant them supernatural powers. This group is a terrifying example of how dark fantasies and mental instability can latch onto satanic imagery to rationalize pure evil, having little to do with any organized satanic religion. They were ultimately caught and convicted, ending their reign of terror. Finally, we come to the Process Church of the Final Judgment. Founded in the 1960s, this group had a unique and complex theology that involved the worship of 4 deities: Jehovah, Lucifer, Satan, and Christ, who they believed would unite at the end of the world. They believed Jehovah and Lucifer were polar opposites, with Satan as the agent of chaos and Christ as the unifier. Their goal was to reconcile these opposing forces. Members were known for their all-black uniforms and large German Shepherd dogs, which gave them an intimidating presence. The Process Church gained notoriety through rumored connections to figures like Charles Manson, although these links were never definitively proven. The group eventually fractured in the 1970s, with some of its offshoots evolving into animal welfare organizations, a strange and unexpected turn. Their story is a reminder of how quickly belief systems can form, change, and splinter in unexpected directions. So there you have it, a journey through 7 very different groups all living under the vast, shadowy umbrella of Satanism. From atheistic activists and intellectual magicians to truly dangerous criminals, it's clear that this is not a monolithic movement. It's a complex tapestry of philosophy, rebellion, spirituality, and in some cases, pure malevolence. Understanding these differences is key to separating genuine belief systems, however unconventional, from dangerous ideologies that use a label to justify harm. The world of belief is vast and varied, and exploring its fringes can tell us a lot about human nature itself. Thanks for watching, and if you found this exploration interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating topics. See you next time.